I'll read the CCB thing you wrote.
Okay, great, sure. Special meeting of the Cannabis Control Board, sorry there, okay, rewind. Special meeting of the Cannabis Control Board of the City of Jersey City held Monday, June 27, 2022, at slightly after 5 p.m. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act known as the Sunshine Bill. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by mail and/or fax to the Jersey Journal and the Reporter. Roll call, please.
Chairperson Bunny,
Here?
Assistant Chairperson Kaplowitz,
Here.
Commissioner Sally Perkins,
Here.
Commissioner Sloan,
Present.
Commissioner Flanagan.
Present. Okay, so we just want to clear up a couple of things, so I'm going to read something into the record. The Cannabis Control Board was created by the Jersey City Municipal Council. The CCB is a result of the council adopting an ordinance. We are not the planning board or the zoning board. Those boards were created by state legislation. The Jersey City Planning Board or the zoning board will hear your application as to zoning and land use developments. According to Ordinance 22-003, the CCB will consider the following factors in its determination to approve or deny an application: community impact and outreach input, the number of cannabis establishments within close proximity, less than 1,000 feet to the applicant. To clarify, just because a cannabis establishment is less than 1,000 feet from your application is not necessarily a negative factor. Each application must be evaluated on the totality of factors and the surrounding neighborhood. We consider hiring practices employed by the applicant, residency of the applicants and owners, the applicant's commitment to diversity and inclusion best practices, their safety and security plans. If the board approves the application, the board will issue a preliminary resolution of support. Once the applicant obtains state approval, the applicant must return to the CCB for final approval. The CCB shall provide final written approval or rejection within 60 days. An applicant could obtain preliminary approval from the CCB, obtain state approval, but be denied by the CCB ultimately. According to Ordinance 21-053, the CCB will ensure compliance with local rules and regulations governing cannabis. Jersey City encourages and promotes participation of minorities, women, and disabled veteran-owned cannabis businesses, and by extension, so shall the CCB. The CCB shall require a Class 5 cannabis retail business applicant to address concerns about the proximity of a proposed location to a substance abuse treatment center or a daycare. So I say all of that because a lot of you are getting pushed to my board and you're asking us questions and saying things to us that are not under our purview. We are not here to evaluate planning board matters or zoning board matters, and frankly, we're not here to discuss whether marijuana should be legal or illegal. That is something you would need to take up at a much higher office, and certainly not with this board. We're a board with a very limited scope, and we're here to do a very specific task. So with that, let's start the meeting.
Madam Chair, may I call the first application?
Yes, you may.
All right, Medusa, I know council's here for that. Please step up. And if you could be so kind as to enter your appearance into the record, please.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Rosemary Moyeno Matos from the law offices of Rosemary Moyeno Matos, LLC, here on behalf of Medusa NJ, LLC.
Welcome, and I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I'm working on it.
All right, what would you like to tell the board?
So I would like to advise the board that
You're not?
pursuant to the request of Chairwoman Bunny last meeting, we did have an opportunity to meet with the St. Peter's and Hudson Catholic teams, their council. Also, there was a member of the Archdiocese Property Management Office there at our meeting. It was held last Wednesday. We listened to their concerns about our application and the specific requests that they had of us. And we concluded the meeting indicating to them that we would take their requests and consider them and offer our some sort of resolution, compromise. There were certain requests that we agree we are willing to accommodate, but and correct me if I'm wrong, Hatham, pretty much every request that they had of us involved significant revisions to our business plan and financial model. So we needed to go back and crunch numbers. As of today, we have been working on that, but our written response is not complete. So I emailed council this afternoon to let them know we needed more time. We're here today to give you an update and to request that we be carried until the next meeting so that we could submit our written response, and hopefully we can have at least one more meeting to see if we can come to some resolution.
So adjournment requests are very much liberally granted by the boards, but back to the board with respect to what we're doing with this application.
Right. First of all, I commend you for going back and meeting with the parties. And I sincerely hope that everybody comes to a compromise and we can move forward. I think you're making the right decision by carrying this, and therefore, when you finally appear in front of the board, it has a happy ending. So, if there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion to carry this to the next meeting, which I believe is
July 11th.
Yeah, July
Is that
11th.
sufficient?
Yes, I think so.
And that would be considered old business, so you'd be first on the agenda.
So we have a motion to carry this application until July 2nd. Is there a second?
I will second it, and I won't say anything. You listened to me talk a lot the other day, so I have nothing to say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Can I call the second one?
Yeah, just give Stacy a minute to get back up here.
Could you hurry it up?
Didn't see.
I didn't know, but I didn't see the updated agenda.
She's got 2 more days on these things. Go for it.
Thank you. All right, on the agenda, the second application, I always thought it was locomotive, but it's locomotive, right? Come on up. No? It is locomotive, all right. Phonetics for me, I'm still stuck in the 8th grade. All right. All right, counsel, please enter your appearance into the record.
Matthew Miller of the law firm of MG Miller Intellectual Property Law, LLC, here on behalf of applicant Locomotive.
Welcome, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
All right, there was some discussion. You want to take it from here, or?
Well, am I talking about this first, or?
So, Mr. Miller, you were kind enough or unkind enough to deposit this package. I guess I just got it about 10 minutes ago. Unfortunately, I certainly don't have the time to digest it at this point in time. So I don't know what you want me to do with this. I just received it.
Certainly. And yes, I understand it's a bit lengthy. Most of it's supporting documentation. If you look at the certification by Mr. Simaluka, it's about 2 pages long, 3 pages long. That contains the relevant information. We were appraised that the board was considering to carry this motion, and we were hoping to be evaluated today, which is why I indicated everything in the letter. Last time we were before the CCB, a number of requests were made, and applicant has worked diligently to satisfy those requests. We've given notice to all neighbors within an 800-foot radius. And actually, Mr. Simaluka, maybe you would rather speak about this yourself.
Is all that information within this document?
Yes.
Well, then, I would have to say that I would have to carry it, because I can't vote on an application when I see something in the neighborhood of 30, 40 pages, unless you want me to take a break and read for the next hour.
He would like that, but I don't think the rest of the...
Okay, so I will, I also think we should carry the application. I'm personally not comfortable moving forward with the application. I do think that there was some confusion at the end that I want to clear up. A letter from the CID is not required, but a lot of your testimony was based on having support from this special improvement district. And still, I browsed through this. I work full time during the day, so I didn't see this until I got here. But there still is no letter of support from the special improvement district. And you guys did base a lot of your application saying that the CID supported you. And maybe they did in 2019. Maybe that was the truth in 2019, but it's 2022 and there is no letter from the CID. So I feel like that was a little bit misleading. I also have been informed that, I know that you were appointed to the Women's Board by a councilwoman, but she did not endorse your business, and that was sort of misleading in your testimony as well. Because I was told specifically that she's not endorsing any cannabis businesses.
So what I would suggest, and you may want to speak to your attorneys, it
Yeah.
appears that this matter is in fact going to be carried. And you may want to prepare your clients to provide testimony with respect to what the chairwoman has just stated. So what is the board's inclination with respect to this? Do we go ahead and hear it, or Jeff, do you have?
No, I'm presented with a
I
lengthy
have
document.
one other thing I want to say.
Go ahead.
I also was not comfortable that you guys spoke against another applicant. You guys are here to speak to your application only, and to suggest that the other applicant had, I guess you suggested, paid off the CID, and that's why the CID wasn't. I was here, you did say it, I heard it, and it got uncomfortable for everybody when you guys had that exchange. And so I feel that it's better to carry this. I'm not comfortable. If you want to move forward and my board wants to move forward, we will. But I personally don't feel comfortable hearing this application tonight.
I would
I
strongly
respect that.
suggest you speak to your
Those were
client.
not my words.
So I'd like to, so again, Joseph Shapiro, Middlebrook Shapiro, on behalf of the
No one
applicant.
can, speak into the mic. Oh, well, she's here taking notes.
Joseph Shapiro, Middlebrook Shapiro, on behalf of the applicant.
Welcome, Mr. Shapiro.
Thank you. In light of what was said on the record, and with our client's agreement, and we will carry, we were here today to address some issues that were raised at the last hearing. We diligently worked to do that. And now that there's been some clarification as to characterization of testimony and need to review what was presented to the board, I think we'll have to acquiesce to carrying.
Wise decision.
And I'd supplement that with this wonderful package by Mr. Miller that needs to be reviewed. So is there a motion to?
Before there's a motion, I do have a request.
Yeah.
Chairperson Bunny, you listed a number of things that made you uncomfortable, I believe is the word that you used.
I said I'm not comfortable moving forward, and I explained what happened at the last meeting. And also just glancing through this packet, you have a community meet. You guys had indicated you noticed the neighbors last time. You guys
Okay.
did indicate that the neighborhood was noticed and aware of your business coming into the neighborhood. Now you're showing us a list of people that you just noticed to attend a meeting on June 30th, which is in 3 days from now. So I don't know that the neighborhood is aware that you're coming into the neighborhood. So I would also feel more comfortable hearing this after the neighborhood was made aware, because you're saying that you noticed them. You're willingly telling us that, but I don't know that anyone from that neighborhood is here to speak for or against the application.
If I could just, we're without the benefit of any transcript from the last hearing. While I take your representations at face value, I don't think we necessarily agree with the characterization, but again, we'll take them at face value, and we can review and address any of these issues that are raised today at the next hearing.
Right. Well, I will, back up the chairman regarding the comments with the counselor for the other applicant about, not having enough money being spread to SID. I took offense to that, too. This business is a brand-new model for Jersey City. There's plenty of room for everybody to coexist. We're hearing the applications based upon your application. We're hearing their application based upon their application. We are taking a vote to recommend or deny. The council will be the final arbiter of that. So always be respectful. I've served on the Jersey City Planning Board, and I've served on the Hudson County SEDS. No one should ever speak against someone who's against your application, for your application, or another competitor.
All right, well, let's give council time to review the record. I don't know, I can't recall now that I'm 61, but perhaps there will be some testimony by Ms. Duffy clearing up these issues that have been raised. So with that, is there a motion to carry this to the next meeting, which would be July 11th? It's not a year away, it's 2 weeks away.
just before the motion is made, what I was going to request was just a complete list of the issues the board would like us to speak to at our next hearing so that we may be fully prepared to address any issues that you may have.
Yeah, I think we can get that to Ron after this meeting, and Ron can get it to you in a timely fashion. If you guys want to wait till another meeting, that's fine too. It's up to you guys. We're meeting July 11th, and we're not meeting again until August after that, so.
It's not an issue with the July 11th date. We just want to meet your concerns, right? You're going to make a recommendation, and we want to show that we're going to be good neighbors and good business owners in Jersey City. So it's just for completeness sake that we make this request.
And although, Mr. Miller, we don't have, well, now we do have a transcriber here, I took the audio recording and simply sent it up to an AI software. It's about 70% accurate. I don't know, there may be pieces missing, but I'm happy to supply you and Mr. Shapiro with that, and you can go through it and just prepare for the next meeting. All right? Sure. So with that, is there a motion followed by a second?
Yes, motion.
Motion to carry this application to the July 11th meeting. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Chelsea Duffy and Matt Simaluka. I would just like to go on the record and apologize for my words previously. I will do my best to rectify my behavior moving forward, and I take it very, very seriously. So thank you for another opportunity coming soon.
And thank you for that, Ms. Duffy.
Yeah, thank you.
May I call the next?
Yes, please.
The
Miluca.
The next application can get teed up. It is Butler and Baldwin LLC. Nice to see you again. Please enter your appearance into the record.
Nice to see you too, Council. Zachary Rosenberg from Bressler, Amory, and Ross on behalf of the applicant Butler and Baldwin LLC.
So, Mr. Rosenberg, if you would be kind enough to briefly tell the board what this application is about and who your witnesses are.
Thank you, Mr. Mondello. Butler and Baldwin LLC is applying for a Class 5 cannabis retail facility. They're located in the Greenville neighborhood at 75 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. It is currently owned by an affiliated entity owned by the owners of the applicant entity. They have a lease in place and are in control of the location. The applicant entity is owned by a dynamic husband and wife trio, Jennifer Moore and David Moore. Jennifer is a 60% owner. She's here with us today. And Jennifer will be our first witness. We also have Sean Prendergast here, who is a consultant for the applicant, and he's sitting just behind me.
All right. With that, then, would you be so kind as to raise your right hand? Do you swear from the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Jennifer Moore, Moore, and my current address is 18 Crestwood Drive, West Orange, New Jersey.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Your witness, Mr. Rosenberg.
I don't have any questions, Council. Jen, if you'd like to go forward with your presentation.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jennifer Moore, and I've never been so nervous in my life, but so nervous tonight.
This is a friendly board.
Yes, I know. So I'm here representing Butler and Baldwin. My husband, who is on FaceTime, wishes he could be here, but the date was given at the top of our family vacation. And so I literally flew back this morning to be here today. Butler and Baldwin is our baby, our dream, actually coming to life. My husband and I are vested in Jersey City. We have been here for years. Both my mother's side and family live here. So we are all Jersey City, from Montgomery Projects to Curry Woods and everything in between. And so...
But you currently live in West Orange.
I currently live in West Orange, yes. And we own our previous residence on 290 Seaview Avenue. And and the residents at 75 MLK. And Butler and Baldwin is a cannabis business that is not just cannabis. We really look at this as an opportunity to change the conversation and the narrative around cannabis within the African American community. And just so you understand, even the name itself is an ode to Octavia Butler and James Baldwin, the authors, because our vision for the store is not just to sell cannabis, but to educate the community. When you walk into our dispensary, we all know there has to be a check-in point, and that check-in point will also double as a bookstore that will host minority authors. Along with that, we will have curated art in our store from local minorities within the community. So it's not just going to be you walk in the store to buy whatever you need, but you're going to be immersed into this culture of Black awareness. And so that's what this is about. David and I, my husband, in our lives here, even in Jersey City, we've done so much, from giving away turkeys. One year we did something called a Christmas blessing, where we literally blessed one family with Christmas. We bought the tree, we bought the gifts through our church. And so we are vested. We know Jersey City. We live it, we breathe it every single day. And so when this opportunity was presented to us, we thought about it. Yes, we could have had investors, but I just want to say for the record that this business is 100% Black owned and majority Black woman owned. And I really wanted to say that for the record.
I'm glad you did, because I had to figure this out. And I hate to ask.
But it is. We're local and we're true. And I'm really honored, actually, to have this opportunity, because the barrier to entry is very high to get into this. And so thank God that we had the savings and the ability to do it. And so I'm proud to be here today. For that, we will have, along with that, a partnership with a local nonprofit. And we took our time because even though there are several, we wanted to ensure that it was effective. We wanted to ensure that it wasn't just the top 5 that everybody knows about. And so we took some time and did some research, and we know a wonderful woman that you will hear later today who's here to speak on our behalf, whose name is Celeste Williams of Caring Capable Hands nonprofit organization. And the reason why I thought it was so important is because she lost her son to gun violence. And so this is why cannabis is necessary, because in this, what she's doing is taking the young people from off the streets, taking them to retreats and helping with recidivism. And I think that that's what's really, really exciting about the opportunity that this is. So not only are we already giving back and continue to give back, but this will allow us to give back on a larger scale within the community locally where we are. We also will have security as it is mandated, and we will plan to have armed security and assess it on an ongoing basis, because it's really hard to say that you will have it indefinitely, because you want to kind of see if it's needed, right? And being aware that it's definitely needed in the beginning for sure to ensure safety. But it's also important to us that we just, manage cost flow as well, because it is, and ensuring that the community feels safe as well is very important to us. On top of that, we have a partnership with the local union. And so hiring people from Jersey City, local community, and putting the money to get people trained in cannabis, right? Because there are a lot of jobs and opportunities that are popping up, but people don't have the experience. And some of the people that are here today that is partnering with us, we are putting money behind that to help them, because we want to make sure that we are ahead of the curve. And so I yield back the microphone.
And just to clarify the record, you've indicated that the company is initially committing in the first year the greater of 1% of gross revenues, which would be approximately 5% of net income, or $10,000 at a minimum.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate, and that is written in the signed MOU that we sent over. So we wanted to put our money where our mouth was.
The bookstore, I'm assuming that that's going to be open to everybody. Everybody can come in, but if they want to proceed into the cannabis store, then they would have to go through the guard to be checked.
Yeah, you cannot, and it's a double entry. So you get buzzed in from the street and then you get buzzed into the dispensary. So
Okay.
you cannot just freely walk in. Yeah.
I may need a little more clarification.
Sure.
You were indicating that anyone should be able to get to the bookstore. Was
Right.
that?
Of age that can enter the dispensary. So children cannot just walk into the bookstore because it is also a dispensary.
Got it. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to be of age.
Thank you. By the way, have you gone to the planning board yet?
Yes, we have.
And did they make any conditional requests above and beyond approval?
Just the standard conditions, nothing out of the ordinary. But yeah, I wanted to point it out because the application that was submitted indicated we did not have planning board approval.
That's what I
we,
was- yeah.
we actually do have, the applicant does have planning board approval, we just haven't received the formal signed resolution.
Got it. Okay. Who will be the contact, the 24/7 contact for the community?
My husband and myself.
Both of you?
Yes.
Okay. And how are we going to go about the hiring aspect of your organization?
We're going to just, I tried to reach out to, it was called the Minority Cannabis Organization. They're local to Jersey City. They're a new organization here. Yeah, they're very, very new. And I've been trying to reach out to build a relationship. But along with that, we are working with the union as well as having typical like hiring processes as any business would, listing the jobs and doing the interviews ourselves.
Hi. The whole concept, the idea of what you're speaking about is fantastic here. I wanted to just understand a little bit more, because you mentioned several things here, just with regards to social equity piece of the business. Can you just talk me through that?
Sure. So for us, it is very important that, I'll say it this way, in the African American culture, there's been so many people who have been disenfranchised because of cannabis. And so my husband and I are making it our business to ensure that we provide education to ensure, that not only are we educating, but that we're providing the resources to help those who've been disenfranchised, and doing whatever is necessary, because we have to change the conversation. And I think that can begin with us.
I think we talk often. Are you done, Courtney? You're not done? Oh, go.
Into the mic.
Don't worry.
I know. Hi, how are you? I know that I did read someplace in here that you were also going to do an expungement
Yes.
sector and part
Yes.
of the program as far as training and trying to help with social equity part of it. So you are going to do that?
Yes, we have in the signed MOU, we will be doing that with Caring Capable Hands, and that will be the arm in which we will partner with to do expungements and educational classes and things like that.
Okay.
Any idea how many employees you're going to hire?
We're micro business, so we can't hire more than 10.
Understood, but will it be 2 or 10?
I think right now we're probably looking maybe like 5.
Thank you. Anything else from the board?
You know, I want to make a recommendation for you. And again, this is above and beyond what the ordinance requires.
Jeff likes to go above and beyond. He must have been a big overachiever in his life.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm a real pain in the ass. You know, one of the things we've heard, in opposition to some of the applications is the long line.
Yeah.
Right, the long line outside. And I'd like to make a recommendation if you would consider, instead of having people line up on the block, maybe take their telephone number down, like restaurants do, and tell them to come back when the line is no more than 4 or 6 people.
Okay.
We'll call you, come back. This way, you're not drawing too much attention to yourself.
Yeah, no, that is definitely something. Crowd control is what we're thinking about, because since this is not only doubling as a dispensary, a bookstore, and it will have curated art, it's going to be a place that a lot of people want to see.
Right.
And we're very keenly aware of that. So yes, I definitely hear that.
Okay. I've been asking this of every applicant, and once again, it's voluntary.
Okay.
If you're going to do any kind of a job fair or work with the union job fair, what would be really helpful for the city is to keep a record that how many people came
Okay.
How many people were interested? How many people actually got hired?
Absolutely.
Or, and I think that would be a great asset to the city. Would you, and
Well, absolutely. We would have that data, no problem.
and submit it to,
Absolutely.
okay. Any complaints that you get? I know the state requires you to keep a record of that. And, I'd like to see on an annual basis, submit it to us, the board. It could be sent to the Department of Commerce, that we could forward to us, so we have an idea, either on a semi-annual basis or an annual basis, of the complaints that you got, when you got it, how you resolved it, and the time it was resolved. I think it would be extremely helpful and educational for all the cannabis dispensaries.
Jeff, can I just interject for a second and have Commissioner Flanagan explain how she believes that's going to work? Because
This is fun. I continue to meet with the Quality of Life Task Force, and I did actually, I was going to send it to Ron. I did just get like an updated how the current list is on a weekly complaints across the city for which item, which I've asked them to add cannabis complaints to. So I'll send that to Ron. I just received it in the morning. And then we can request, I have a meeting request with the Quality of Life Task Force that Maynard's going to be involved in after that he doesn't even know about yet. Right. Because I had to leave work early for a doctor's appointment at the week of July 11th to have it all set up.
So basically, the city's getting the responses. It'll be another part that will be.
Yeah, it'll be
forwarded.
another part of the formal complaint summons. We have a whole host of different things every Monday morning. So we're going to add this, and so Maynard and I are going to discuss with the prosecutor because we have other things that we're going to discuss with him related to other smoke shop fun stuff.
Well, in that case, disregard my request.
yeah,
I think that's it on my part. You have the MOU with a nonprofit. It sounds very important to the community, and that's it.
Anything else from board members? Hearing none, seeing.
I thank you for being more realistic and saying you have to learn as you go, because I do think that's the more realistic answer than coming here and promising the sun, the moon, the stars. You are a new business and you don't know what you're going to and what it's going to entail, what the appetite is for cannabis in the city. So I appreciate you saying, 5 employees instead of telling us 10. And then, it's always better to be realistic than super. Optimistic is good, but I think realistic is probably better. So thank you for that. And I think you did touch on it, but you're going to start, I guess, with a lot of security to make sure that this space is safe and the neighborhood is safe, but you're open to tweaking it as you go based on community feedback?
Yes.
Oh, actually, I do have another comment because as we hear other and review security plans, one recommendation we haven't made yet, but because I didn't see it, was, maybe some people have talked about sitting with the JCPD regarding the area where you are, so you better know what to expect. Some others have had retired police officers review their security plan, and just a recommendation to make sure that because you're very close to the police station.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion.
Thank you.
Anything else from board members? Any members of the public wish to ask this is questions only at this point on the testimony that Ms. Moore was kind enough to provide to the board. Questions at this time? Hearing none, seeing none. All right, we will open it up for general comments from anyone. You are limited to 3 minutes. Please step forward.
Mr. Mondella, can I introduce some of the
Oh, I beg your
Witness-
pardon.
Yeah,
I
no-
beg
no
your
problem,
pardon. I
no
thought that
problem.
was the last witness. I'm sorry.
I'm
My
sorry. No,
mistake.
we do have some members of the community who are here to support the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenberg. I appreciate
No-
that.
no problem.
Your next witness, please.
Next witness will be Celeste Williams, who is the founder of Caring Capable Hands, the nonprofit that has an MOU signed with the applicant.
All right. Welcome, Ms. Williams. Would you be kind enough as to raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address. And I do believe you're going to be handed a very large microphone. Don't be afraid of it.
All right. So good evening, everyone. So my name is Celeste Williams. My last name is spelled Williams. I reside at 415 Communiport Avenue in Jersey City, New Jersey, 07304.
Thank you. What would you like to tell the board?
So I am the founder of Caring Capable Hands Incorporated, and our mission of Caring Capable Hands is that we redirect the behaviors of the youth in the community, and also we offer them interventions to drive down the recidivism rate of the youth in our community through social services. And so I was excited to partner with Butler and Baldwin when I was offered the opportunity, because I believe that the community is us, we, and ours. And we know that a lot of our youth don't get the opportunity to sometimes work in the community that they live in. And also, what I realize in our community is that a lot of our youth can't go everywhere in the community because they association and they affiliation. And the reason I know this firsthand because my own son faced that very same issue and those very same challenges. And that's how Caring Capable Hands was birthed. He's not here today, but what I offer and my organization will offer will help other young men have an opportunity at a longevity of life in the community that they live in. It is a sad day, but also it's a rejoicing day that we can come together and build something greater in our community for our youth and actually see it tangibly. And by partnering with Butler, and excuse me, I'm a little nervous. And
Don't be nervous.
It's just
You're killing it.
it's just so heartfelt because I lost my son. And the very thing that I was doing personally with my own son, I get to do for others. So another mother don't have to face the heartbreak that I've seen, and we can partner together in our own community for our youth. It's not easy to bring them together. No, that's a big challenge that we have, that we have to go in different pockets of the community. And that's what me and my organization been doing. We've been going in different pockets of the community to do different things for the youth, to one day we able to bring them to one table. But right now we know that that's a challenge that we face and we're trying to figure it out. But still, no one individual should be left behind because they live in one different pocket of the community. Exactly. And so that is our goal, that we at least reach one. We may not get them all, but if we get one, we did a lot. Mine wasn't able to, be saved, but others will be through the initiative and the partnerships that is built in the community. Because now in the community, we get to have a bigger conversation on how to help our youth. Right. It's not like we sitting behind a desk. We're right there in the community with them, understanding and hearing the challenges that they face, because sometimes they don't believe we want to hear from them. But by going out in the community and talking and speaking with them, reminding them that we do want to hear from them. and I just did a retreat with them. And it's not easy to get young guys to show up.
Right,
So the fact that
exactly.
they showed up tells you that they
Right,
want
they do.
change,
They do.
that they want something different, because they showed up. And that was the hardest part, for them to show up and do something different, because it took them outside of their norm.
Right, exactly.
And so I believe, partnering with other businesses and other organizations will help us do that. And someday bring more of our children together at one time.
Well,
So
thank-
Yeah,
I yield the mic back to you.
thank you for, first and foremost, I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Any questions from board members on the testimony?
No, I wish you all the luck in the world. Your work is very, very important.
I was going to ask for your card because I feel like every meeting I find out something new, but I have not heard of this organization, but you're exactly sort of what I envisioned when we made the recommendations from the beginning, to like who's steeped in the community, really doing this work, really kind of on the ground with real true partnership, and what that could look like to really make a change in a neighborhood that's been disenfranchised by cannabis and its past.
Celeste, can I have your card? Because I was in a meeting yesterday. We were just talking about that, about taking these kids to a retreat, and and trying to get them together, because I understand exactly what you're going through. I have grandsons that can't leave off the block. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
5-block radius. is what I call it.
Exactly.
5-block radius.
I recommend you bring lots of cards wherever you speak.
Thank you. And I do have a lot to call.
Do any members of the audience have any questions for Ms. Williams? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Next witness, Mr. Rosenberg.
Next witness is Crystal Page.
Ms. Page? Welcome, Ms. Page. Could you be kind enough to raise your right? Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Crystal Page, Paige. My address is 185 Myrtle Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305.
Ms. Page, what do you want to tell the board?
Well, I want to speak to the character of David and Jennifer.
Could you please speak a little louder into the mic? Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I want to speak to the character of David and Jennifer. I knew Jennifer since she was a little girl.
She still is.
I was like one of the first members of their church, because I used to go to her She's Bad conferences. And I was looking for a church, and I went to the conference, and I seen that they was opening the church. So like when the church doors open, I'm the day one, because I was there from day one. Jennifer, I also lost a son to the streets. Jennifer and David has been such a support system to me. It's going on 9 years with my son, since my son was murdered. And I can call them anytime, if I need something. Even when it comes to, I stay with my daughter, comes to food or anything we need. I can call her, I can call him. My nephew died 2 years ago, and I told them he was in the hospital. I'm sitting in the hospital with my nephew, and who comes up there? Pastor David. That's just who they are. They're loving, they care about the community. Even when we was on Ocean Avenue, we had our church on Ocean Avenue. We used to give out breakfast on Saturdays. We would go to Curry Woods just to hand out flyers. They are true examples of people that care. So I think this would be wonderful. I wish my son would have been able to be here to, go through the program that Celeste is doing, because we're from Rutgers Avenue. So where I live now, he wouldn't have been able to come because of the block situation. You can't go here. you can't go there. But I also have 2 daughters and grandchildren. So this would be good for my grandchildren, my nephews, just good to even education, give them education about the cannabis, everything. So please, everyone, if you could pass this, pass it for them.
Any
That's
board
it.
members have any questions from Ms. Page?
No, thank
Seeing
you.
none. Any folks in the audience have any questions for Ms. Page? Next witness.
Pastor Wendy Williams.
Rivers.
Pastor Wendy Rivers, I'm sorry.
All right. I knew the pastor would be ready. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address. Thank you. And welcome.
Gwendolyn Rivers, Rivers, 94 Lion Court, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305. Yes, Courtney, it's me. It's Wendy, yes. Don't look at me. Yes. I stand before you, board, to speak on the character of Jennifer, because we're formal, Jennifer and David. I've known Jennifer for over 20 years, and I met her at a woman's retreat, and she was serving us as speakers. She was serving then, and she continues to serve her community now. As pastors, they go above and beyond. I have a daughter who is mentored by Jennifer, who, because of Jennifer, is in her purpose. They are purpose pushers. And I mean purpose pushers. In our community, we have visions, but we don't know how to excel in those visions. How do I create my business? How do I make a plan? And Jennifer and David have been instrumental in bringing people and letting them know that they can do it, and being aware of who we are as a people. So if there are any people that are able to do this with class, with purpose, with vision, I'm asking you to allow Butler and Baldwin to be that place.
Thank you very much. Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Any questions from no? Any questions from members of the public? Hearing none, seeing none. Next witness.
John Kella.
Welcome, Mr. Keller. If you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address.
Absolutely. John Kella, Khelllah, 233 Terrace Avenue, Jersey City, 07307.
What do you want to tell the board, Mr. Keller?
I can personally speak to the character of both Jen and David. I went to business school with David at Villanova back in 2009. David and Jen were my clients. I brokered the Purpose Church on Ocean Avenue as well as the 75 MLK when they originally bought it. Ideal clients, wonderful people to do business with, and especially in David's case, I can speak to the aptitude of his ability to do business. You know, I got to witness him firsthand in business school, and he's as great as it comes, really.
Thank you, Mr. Keller. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, seeing none. Members of the audience? Hearing none, seeing none. Next witness, please.
Deetris Powell.
Welcome. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address.
Deetris Powell. The spelling of my last name is Powell. Address 16 James Pop Curry Drive, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07304.
Welcome, Ms. Powell. What do you want to tell the board?
I'm going to speak on the character of Mr. David and Jennifer Moore. I did write it down.
That's quite all right.
Okay. So I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So, in the words of integrity, if the words integrity had a face, well, in this case, two faces, it would be those of David and Jennifer Moore. They exemplify the qualities of being trustworthy, honest, and fair. They have very strong moral principles. They stand by such a loyal. I'm sorry. I'm just going to pick it up.
Don't worry about it.
They have very strong moral principles they stand by, such as loyalty, respect, love, and compassion for others. Both David and Jennifer Moore are not only great people, but outstanding pastors who lead by true example. As one of their leaders in training at their church, they ensure we understand how to be responsible and accountable for our actions, that being good or bad. They hold us to high standards, just as they show us what that looks like through their own lives. The Moores opening a dispensary in our community speaks in volumes of their caring nature. They understand opening a dispensary will help those who are in need of medical use of the cannabis. I couldn't think of anyone better than both Jennifer and David Moore to open a dispensary to add the quality of life to others, such as my husband, who suffers from 2 herniated discs in his back, who is a licensed cannabis carrier. Sorry. David and Jennifer Moore would turn this dispensary into something extraordinary, as you guys have already heard, for those that need it. I believe in my heart that the same care, love, and attention they give to their church, family, and friends will overflow in their business as well.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. Questions from the board? Hearing none, seeing none. Audience? Next witness.
Next witness is Hugh Giordano from Ufcw Local 152.
Welcome, Mr. Giordano. Nice to see you again. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth shall help you God?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address.
Hugh Giordano, Giordano, 57 Argyle, Blackwood, New Jersey, 08012.
Would you like to tell the board, Mr. Giordano?
Yes, I'm here to speak in reference to the labor standards of this applicant. Mr. and Mrs. Moore from day one have made it a key part of their agenda to make social equity and economic justice the main pillar of their business moving forward. As a micro license, they don't even have to sign a labor peace agreement under the state law, but they took the effort and took that next step to make sure that all the workers at their facility will be unionized. That's leadership. That's justice. Standing up for working class people, guaranteeing living wages, health care, and especially on the training and the workforce development side, we have a national apprenticeship program, and we will make sure that Jersey City is a major part of that. We are working with the Department of Labor here in New Jersey as well, and with the CRC to move that forward as well. And we expect this applicant to be part of the movement forward for good jobs and living wages. Didn't have to beg. They reached out and wanted to do the right thing. So the UFCW, the AFL-CIO wholeheartedly supports this candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giordano. Any questions from the board members? Hearing none, seeing none. Members of the public? Just so the record's clear, a micro business need not enter into a labor peace agreement. This applicant is doing so, although they are not required to do so. Next witness?
This is our last witness. He goes by the mononym of Cortez.
Aha. Mr. Cortez, how are you? Good. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
My birth name is Christopher John Joseph Robinson. I go by Cortez. My address is 40 Jackson Street, Freehold, New Jersey. And I'm here on the behalf of Jen and David, and they asked me as a visual artist to submit.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Cortez.
I'm sorry about that. My name is Christopher Robinson. I go by the acronym Cortez, or not acronym, but the name Cortez. And I'm a visual artist and DJ, and Jen and David asked me to submit artwork for this facility. And so if you go to my website, esotericurbanism.com, you'll see that my work is very socially conscious. And walking into this, they viewed my work and there was a synergy. And so I'm very happy to be, a part of this project. And I think it would be really good for the community because it isn't just about dispensing cannabis. It's also about creating community and creating culture. And so me as a visual artist, I like to partake and be a part of people who are connected to the community because my art is about community. And so that's why I'm here, and I'm very proud to be a part of this project.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. Any questions from the board, from the audience? Hearing none, seeing none. That would be it with respect to witnesses.
That would be it. No further witnesses.
All right. I'm going to, with the chair's permission, open it up to the public. If anyone has any comments, either for or against the application,
I have a question. Did you say you had a consultant here? He's not speaking?
No, he's not speaking.
Okay.
He's just behind me. His name is Sean Prendergast.
I just wanted to make sure
Yes.
he didn't want to speak. Okay.
Just consulting.
Got it.
Fair enough.
You did such a good job, you don't need consulting at this meeting.
I'm guessing that there is no one for or against. Yeah. Come on up. You're limited to 3 minutes. Please come up, state your name. All right. Since you are giving testimony, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can, please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address.
Yes, my first name is Osbert, last name's Orduña, or D-U-N-A. My address is 5036.
Okay, yeah, that was quick even for me.
Right.
Spell the last name.
O-R, D as in David, U-N-A.
All right, thank you, Mr. Orduna. What do you want to tell the board?
While I don't know the applicant, I am in favor of the applicant's application. I just want to state, I know other times folks have come out and spoken and said that, there's an increase in crime or property values go down, et cetera. And I just want to quote something from a article from the Regional Science and Urban Economics Institute. They did a study, and basically it found that dispensaries in the community actually lowered local crime, that they led to a reduction in crime in the community. They actually increased property values in the community, and then on top of that, they also led to additional economic empowerment and community development efforts. And so I'd just like to go on the record and say that, and for this applicant and all applicants, just something for the board to, have in the back of their mind as they're listening to testimony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Orduna? Hearing none, seeing none. Anyone else from the public wish to be heard for or against the application? Okay, we'll close that public portion, bring it back to the dais. Did you want to sum up?
I have nothing further, Mr. Mondello. I think the application speaks for itself. You obviously heard from Jennifer and all of the support here before the board, so I don't have anything else to say.
Thank you.
Do we want to have any discussion before a motion? No? Then I'll make a motion. In regards to...
Motion to do what?
Motion to approve this application.
Thank you, Jeff.
CCB 22-09, Butler and Baldwin LLC at 75 Martin Luther King Drive, with the following conditions: that you will keep a record and submit to us any job fairs.
We went over this part. They agreed.
No, yeah, but that's part,
okay.
that's part of the resolution.
Okay, got it.
It's not legal unless it's in the resolution.
Okay.
Where was I?
You had several things, Jeff. The first one was take numbers if there is queuing. The second was a job fair. The third was an expungement clinic.
Right.
And the fourth I heard was perhaps a meeting with the Jersey City Police Department.
Right. And one other, that you would institute a phone system so there wouldn't be a long line outside. That's my motion.
Fair enough. Is there a second?
I second.
All right. Roll call.
Chairperson Bunny.
I'm going to vote yes because I do think that when we talk about and I say this as someone who is white, so I don't underestimate that or at all. I think when we hear capable, caring hands speak and about your character, that you are someone who is from Jersey City, who grew up in Jersey City, who understands the complexities of the different neighborhoods and the issues the community faces, and that's really what we should be looking for and hearing when people come in front of us. Someone who's from here who wants to help the community that they grew up in to, navigate cannabis, understand cannabis, and to do good things. So I vote yes because I do think that this is an ideal applicant, and so yes for me.
Assistant Chair Kaplowitz.
I will say that when the Jersey City Council passed their their ordinance, dealing especially with social justice, they had an applicant like you in mind. You meet all of the targets, and I agree with the chair. And the grassroots, in more ways than one, who came out in your favor, says a lot about you and your husband and the business. I welcome you to Jersey City as a cannabis business. I vote aye.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sally Perkins.
Yes, I agree. I'm just so happy to know that you're coming into Jersey City, and be able to bring our people to some history that they should be learning, so it's not only the cannabis part of it, but it's the education part of who they are and where they came from. So I really appreciate that, and I know that it's going to be a success.
Commissioner Sloan.
Again, I would ditto. I think,
Turn it on.
I would ditto.
I think they turn off.
Yeah, I do. They go off and on.
Only if you press them.
From just the name of the business and just the consideration, and what feels like wholehearted just interest and energy, and not just in a business plan, but really coming from a space of transformation and wanting to do and be in your hood and understand what's happening there. And I think and believe, as Jeff stated, just a very beautiful and very, very well done application. So excited and look forward to you being a part of the community here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Flanagan.
And Courtney has tissues up here because you've had us crying with your people. But I too vote yes, and thank you for such a thoughtful application, one that drives social justice and really from the people. So minority women-owned business at the forefront, born and raised here, I think says amazing things about the future of cannabis for us.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you.
Motion
And
carried.
also, I just want to thank you for having it in the hood.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Motion carries. Congratulations. I don't vote, but I think the bookstore is brilliant. I've seen heard a lot of applications. This is obviously not the only town I work for. Just nothing less than brilliant.
Thank you.
I hope you're going back on vacation.
I leave at 5 a.m.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care. May I call the next one?
Now, that's a first. The first application that we've approved where the audience all applauded.
Yes.
They're all her people.
Oh, wait.
The character witnesses. No.
No, is that, no, not.
I'm kidding.
All right.
All right, the next application, if it please, the Leaf Joint, LLC. Oh, there goes half the audience.
Oh, we did. Yeah, it's Euphoria. Apologies. It's,
I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
He jumped one. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I was so
But we
excited
are-
about the bookstore. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Euphoria, LLC, Euphoria. I beg your pardon, Euphoria. All right, council, please.
Super proud. Former student of mine.
Oh, she's a former student.
Oh, really?
But I'm really serious
Well,
about
welcome.
that retreat.
No, here.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Council, would you be so kind as to enter your appearance into the record?
Rodney
Oh,
Nel-
Mr. Rosenberg has double duty here, I see.
Yeah. Rodney Nelson with Bressler, Amory, and Ross. Zach Rosenberg.
Welcome, Mr. You said Nelson?
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Rosenberg is co-counsel.
Yes, also with Bressler, Amory, and Ross. Good to be back.
So why don't you break in Mr. Nelson? We're going to ask him, what is this about and who are the witnesses? And if I caught you off guard, we'll go back to Mr. Rosenberg.
It's all right. So this is Euphoria. They're making an application for an adult use micro retail dispensary. We have Sean Pendergrass and Hugh Giordano as witnesses.
Yeah, those witnesses will follow our main witness, who is Bashkim Spali. He's the 100% owner of the applicant, Euphoria LLC. Like Rodney said, they're applying for a Class 5 retailer establishment. Their location is at 138 Griffith Street, which is in the Heights. And Bashkim is a Heights resident. He's been there for over 6 years. He's also worked in Jersey City for a long time, doing operations for a local moving company, and he's been here for a long time. He loves the community, and he's excited to get going on this project in the Heights.
Fair enough.
Now,
All right. I'm sorry.
Your applicant hasn't been heard by the planning board, correct?
He has not been heard by the planning board. The applicant actually submitted a complete application and was subsequently directed by the planning board to come to the CCB first.
Right.
Yep.
I just wanted to clarify that.
All right, sir, would you please be so kind as to raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name slowly, and give us your address.
It's Bashkim Spahi. Last name is S-P-A-H-I.
S-P-A-H-I, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
First name is Bashkim, B-A-S-H-K-I-M.
Thank you, sir. What do you want to tell the board?
17 Concord Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07306 is the address.
Thank you.
My name is Bashkim. I'm a Jersey City resident. I've worked in Jersey City for about 13 years. Looking to open up a cannabis dispensary in the Heights. A little nervous, so excuse me about that.
Don't be nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah, you guys seem all nice. So
Yeah.
I'm not that nervous. Just trying to open up this dispensary, continue to change people's views on cannabis and how its use and the benefits that can come out of it. Also, giving into the community, giving back to the community, dealing with organizations that I've worked with in the past and continue to do so. And change people's view on cannabis, and it's a good product for people to have access to responsibly. And I'm kind of a little out of words, so if you guys have any questions, I think I can answer those.
I guess I'll just ask if you can share a little bit more about your like overall vision for how you plan to operate this location. What are some of the focal points for us to think about partnerships? Just share a little bit more vocally.
We plan on hiring about eight employees. Have a check-in area, everything that's on the board there. A lot of the candidates that we're looking to hire are going to be from Jersey City. We want to hire local people within the community. I've actually spoke to someone at 398 MLK and discussed training classes for people to learn about cannabis. So I did some research as well for employee training and the New Jersey employment and training program. So I spoke to them as well and see if they have any applicants or people looking to search in Jersey City. Yeah, we're gonna have at least 75% local employees in Jersey City, with the goal being as many as possible, if not all.
Are you 100% owner?
Yes.
Okay. And forgive me, but this is part of a report I have to put together. What is your nationality?
I was an Albanian.
Thank you.
I was born here, but Albanian as well.
So can you talk us through from your plan? Because I wasn't clear. Hi.
Hi.
Just wanted to understand more just about the social equity piece of your plan, also anything related to expungement portions. I'm just wondering if you considered any of those things.
Yeah, we have in our thing, the first year, we want to do at least 1% of gross sales or minimum of 10,000 to give back to the community. There's some organizations that we've been in touch with to, some of them that we've been giving to and dealing with. And there's also some that we have identified in here as well that we're going to continue, start working with. And we plan, depending how everything goes, so this is something new. So we look to increase that. Giving back to the community is something I feel very strongly about. So if we can do better, we can help out more, that's something great for us.
And I'm sorry, what was the organization specifically? Was it food or food insecurity? Was that what
There's a
yours-
few, even with at my current place where I was working at the moving company, I was in charge of reaching out to the community and giving back. That was part of my responsibilities. So we've partnered with Hamilton Park Summer League. That's from NCAA, recognizes that as well. I think it was a $5,000. It was through the company that I work for, but it was a $5,000 donation. Every year we supply them with the jerseys, and they have it's in downtown Jersey City, Hamilton Park. We also, No Kid Hungry, Wounded Warrior, those are all places that, Susan G. Coleman is one of them.
So is this is for the your day job?
Yeah, that's
companies.
when I was in charge of that, these are the ones that we did. We also have,
Just to clarify, I think what Bosch is getting at is that he's established relationships with these organizations, and he intends to move forward with them as he, moves forward with this new project, and is speaking to these organizations about potentially signing MOUs and getting on board with the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Some of these are,
So what do you still work for the company?
as of a month ago, no.
And what company was that?
Moisha's Moving.
Okay, got it.
By the way, I was just going to say, I think I set up that relationship with No Kid Hungry like many years ago because I was a volunteer at the time.
You know Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam. He's a
So
good guy.
I think any prior work you've done is certainly worth us considering, but I think what we want to hear about is how you're going to impact the community in this capacity specifically. And I am not telling you who to give your money to or how to give your money. That's none of my business. But I do know something that the city is looking for is for Jersey City to benefit from these businesses coming into the city. So if you could tell us more about, again, I commend you for all the good work you did, but I think we want to hear about all the good work you want to do.
Well, we've identified some local charities. I know those are mostly like national and larger ones. So you have the Sharing Food Pantry. We were looking at that. Big Brother, Big Sister of Hudson County. And something, Good Grief. That's for children who have lost a parent, ages 6 to 18. And we did do some work, or made a donation last year to Kids First. It's up in the Heights. They had a toy drive giving away for kids that didn't have Christmas gifts at the end of the year. So that's one of the, it's not on, I think it's on here, but that's something that we've done recently. And that's for the summer, the Hamilton Park League. That's something that I know the owner, so I'm going to continue to see if we can do something with that.
Yeah, the Hamilton Park Summer League is very competitive. It gets very close, the game. So, no, all of those are great. I commend you. I know this board is very concerned about local impact, but if you pass this board, you have to go to a 9-person board, and they're really looking to see the community impact, and that's the municipal council. So just make sure you firm all of that up before you go to that meeting.
Right. That's the applicant's intent, is to have memoranda of understanding with each of these organizations prior to appearing before council.
Okay, perfect.
I'm sorry. What organizations are you going to deal with as far as hiring?
Well, I know the New Jersey employment and training. It's on 398 Martin Luther King. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna put on Craigslist somewhere local where you can put it by location, and any reentry programs that they have. If something that's local, and I haven't really done any of that because we're not at those stages yet. But those are the ideas that I'm having.
You talked about in your application sponsorship in regards to clearing an applicant's criminal record, expungement. Could you go into further detail on that?
Give me a second, please. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the process of how to go along with that, but it's something. Yeah, it's something that we're looking to do. I mean, I've had friends of mine that were affected by cannabis before it was legalized in Jersey City. Because I was born and raised in Brooklyn initially, and a lot of the people I grew up with, I've seen the effects of how they were treated. So that's something that I would look into to try to help with that.
And in addition to that, if I might add, I think I've mentioned this to the board previously, but our law firm has a pro bono relationship with Northeast New Jersey Legal Services, who has an office in Jersey City. And one of the services that they provide to the community is expungements. So our firm would obviously be happy to partner with Euphoria LLC and NNJLS in facilitating expungements, both at the establishment and throughout the Heights community.
Could you go into a little further explanation on how you're going about hiring people?
I'm gonna put out ads locally.
I think Glenda just asked that question.
And
Yeah, I did.
I apologize.
And then put ads on Craigslist and
no, no,
locally.
I'm getting old. What can I say?
Yeah, no, you already answered this question. You don't have to
Asked and
answer it
answered.
again.
Right. I apologize. I'm just looking at my notes. So.
Okay.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about security? I think we don't have to go over the fact that it's packaged. There's no cannabis laying on a counter. It's all but what's your security plan?
Well, we have the check-in the beginning where you check your ID.
Do you have armed security guards or?
Unarmed.
Unarmed.
No,
Have you contracted a security company?
No, we have not yet.
Okay.
There is I did speak to the local police department, which is a block away, and I told them I'm looking to open a dispensary, and just asked them for any tips or advice. And they talked to me about a couple of things. They said security cameras are a big thing, lighting, keeping the community safe, anybody that's around. There's municipal parking that's patrolled a lot, they said, because the building's adjacent to
The parking authority lot, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they said it's a big lot of activity there.
The public lot now.
Yes. Oh, it is public. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you actually contacted a security company? Have you laid out any plans? Had the building inspected with recommendations what's required for security?
We have, I think it's called 4Wired Communication. That's the company that gives us all the recommendations, what type of alarm system and security, steel doors, metal doors, all that stuff. It's all specified. They went through, we had sent them photos and they got back to us with all that.
So there is something, and this may be for your attorneys, but there is something in your executive summary that you have already reached out to vertically integrated ATCs in order to obtain flower, obtain, cannabis product. Who are those ATCs that you have already started a relationship with?
Yeah, I think you talked about volume purchasing in that.
Well, one of them is a Harmony dispensary. The building that I worked in, the moving company, they're on the first floor. We're on the second floor. So I was talking to some of the managers there.
When you say they, Harmony's on the first floor?
Yes.
Harmony's on the first floor of the building on Cole Street, and I think it's like 10th.
Yeah.
It's like weird though, because it's not quite 10th because that would be,
Just
yeah,
12th,
it's the
12th
Cole Street underpass, but
Right.
it's not quite 10th. It's like maybe 11th or 12th.
Yeah, it's 225 Coles.
Correct.
Where all the trucks are parked, the Moishes
Yeah.
trucks.
So Harmony's on the first floor. Moishes is on the second floor.
They took the whole thing over now. So
When you say they,
the Harmony, they took the first floor and the second floor. The moving company actually moved the location.
got it.
So that's where all the art is downtown. They had the big project downtown. Amount of fine arts and all that.
Right.
You've also indicated that, thank you. You've also indicated that you've got relationship with numerous experienced companies that have submitted both micro and standard cultivation licenses greater than 10,000 square feet. Who might some of those organizations?
Pure Leaf. So they have contacts at Pure Leaf and that's also with Sean as the advisor. He has the connections with a lot of these other companies as well.
So if this gentleman is going to keep sort of speaking to Mr. Rosenberg, we may either want to have him sworn in and give some testimony.
Before he does that, I have a question. In your application, which, dovetails what you were talking about, you talked about volume purchasing to get the best price. When you talk about volume purchasing, are you, going past the retail component of your license?
No, whatever's allowed or whatever we're supposed to be doing, we're going to follow the regulations.
It's
not
1,000 pounds a month, which I think is a lot, but some of my deadhead friends wouldn't.
A good dead show, that's at least a half a pound right there.
I think that's what the applicant meant by volume.
Okay, all right. I just want to clarify that. So we're going to have testimony from your consultant?
We are going to have testimony from Sean Prendergast.
Well, hold on.
Wait.
Let's make sure no one has any other
Sorry.
questions. We're still asking questions. Ladies over there? No?
Anybody from the public have any questions?
Well,
That's questions, not comments. Go ahead.
questions. The previous applicant, you heard me ask about crowd control in regards to, a line that goes down the block. Once again, it's voluntary. It's not part of the ordinance. Would you follow the suggestion of, making sure that if the line gets too long, more than 6 people, that you would take phone numbers and then, text them when the line is smaller to come back?
Very reasonable, and also you can pre-order and get a discount. You could do something like that. You get a discount if you order online. This way you're not pre-orders, you just pick up, give your ID, and you're in and out. So there's other things. We don't want to be a nuisance in the neighborhood. We don't want lines around the block and stuff like that.
Right.
If I might add, the municipal parking lot directly next door helps in that regard because you won't have, queues of cars lined up, double parked on the street.
No.
Do a pickup.
I double parked on that.
All right. I apologize for interrupting.
Don't apologize. Any other questions from the board? Members of the pub, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you literally are one block from the police department, right? Like
Yes.
literally a block.
Yeah, they're on Hutton, I think it is, in the corner.
No, they're on Central, 282 Central Avenue is the North District Police Precinct.
Yeah.
They're moving someday allegedly to Sherman Place, but for now they're still right on the Heights. But I just looked it up on Google Maps and it says you're at 138?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can open your window and call out
I was going to say that's built-in security.
Any questions for this witness from members of the public? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Any other questions from board members? Hearing none. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm speaking out of school. Go ahead.
Next witness.
Next witness is Sean Prendergast, who is a consultant for the applicant.
Welcome, Mr. Prendergast. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your office address.
Sean Prendergast. Last name is P-R.
Closer. I can't hear.
P-R-E-N-D-E-R-G-A-S-T. I reside at 2517 Rivertown Parkway in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Oh, that was a rough commute.
Yeah, really.
Dude.
So, do you want to qualify this witness? Are you offering him as an expert in security?
I'm not offering him as an expert in security.
I can tell you my background.
Thank you.
All right. I'm an ex-attorney. I used to practice in Denver,
Could you
Colorado.
hold the mark?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm an ex-attorney. I used to practice in Denver, Colorado. And in 2012, I was approached by a couple of my clients in Colorado to help them with renting to medical marijuana providers. So we had to go out and we got the second license for medical marijuana grow in Denver County. And that just kind of started my process. Primarily, I was brought in for the tax consequences and Section 280E because of my background in financial planning, and I went to tax school.
Well, you'll put everybody asleep if you go down that
Yes.
road. So, Mr. Rosenberg, so are you offering him, Mr. Prendergast, as a general consultant in the cannabis arena? I'm trying to get my arms around this.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead. I mean, I'm a consultant that I've had the pleasure of working with the Moores and Butler and Baldwin. And what I help them with is understanding the process and how to minimize the expenditures so you can have financial viability for your business. So I help them with sort of all aspects, and I can speak to behalf of the volume pricing. So what I've done with some of the relationships I've had with other applicants is when you go to the medical ATCs or the other suppliers, if we can pool our amounts, we can get a better price. So then we have the viability of the financial model work. I mean, I've seen in my experience so many applications or so many people trying to get into the business where, you know, to do the dispensary should cost $10, but they've been told it's going to cost them $25. And they don't realize where you can cut costs and also really minimize your exposure by going, for instance, to a security company to get your security plan instead of hiring a security consultant who then goes to a security company to get you the plan. It's just simple things like that. So I sort of help them in all aspects or what is needed. So from the state application process to the local application process, primarily with Bosch, you know, I haven't found really a harder working individual because the main issue was the real estate. I mean, you can't afford, in my opinion, $10,000 a month. It's non-deductible. So one of the benefits of his location is just sort of the efficiency of the building, the parking, the fact that it's $2,500 a month. It just fits those factors. And so what I help with is try to build that base or foundation so they can be successful in the future. From back office, bringing in the purchase and sale equipment, helping him contact other manufacturers or other cannabis growers so they have supply, but also really how it functions and how do you account for it and how you apply that, the difficulty of the tax consequences and how do you approach that. When it comes to employees, Bosch is going to be working 80 hours a week. All right, they're not going to go hire a manager for X dollars. He's going to be hiring employees from the local community, but also be the direct manager and also responsible for those individuals.
So when you talk about having some of the local dispensaries partner up for volume purchasing, are you basically formulating a co-op?
A little bit of a co-op, and that's just, some of the relationships I've built over the years is we sort of sit there and, I'm working with the Moores. I have another applicant that's going to be coming forward in another couple weeks and some other applicants in other areas because you'll be able to go to some of these, companies and get a better price. on
Right.
a per gram basis.
So they would be purchasing,
They'd still be purchasing direct.
okay, so
All
they're
right.
still seed to sale.
Correct.
And
For instance, I'll just give you a sort of a screenplay version. You go to a vertically integrated ATC and say, instead of buying 40 pounds a week or 40 pounds a month, we collect five businesses and said we're going to do 125 pounds. So they all get a lower price. There's no flow through to the co-op. There's no commission to me. It's just trying to get a better price. And also it gives you better access to a variety of products.
And would it still be individual to each dispensary, where if you're buying 150 pounds between three dispensaries, each one is 50, where they'll be individually wrapped with their own information, seed to sale directly to the state?
Actually, I'm confused by your question.
So
Well,
I don't want to get into specifics of how businesses are operating, because I don't think that's specific to this application.
Oh, it's not, but it's
right, but it's
educational.
curiosity. But I
Oh, no.
want to focus on the application
But-
and not.
With all due respect.
One at a time.
All right, I apologize for over-talking you. Right, stenographer. Go ahead.
No, I just think you're asking general curiosity questions that are not necessarily specific to the applicant, and I would like to continue moving the application along so that we can get to a decision.
Well, again, it's in the application. I think that if we're going to hear this.
I don't know. I asked Ron if it's relevant to the testimony of the application, and he said it is not.
Well,
Listen, I don't think that it's relevant as to the quantity they're going to buy, the savings that they're going to, and with all due respect to Mr. Pendergrass, I disagree with it. There's going to be such a small amount of supply and such a huge demand, in my own personal opinion, I don't think there is going to be any savings, but I leave that up to him.
Right.
I mean, why don't you finish up and, yeah.
Well, my question really is if there are going to be individual dispensaries in Jersey City that are partnering up, purchasing, I just want to see how that's going to work in Jersey City as part of each dispensary being independent.
You're right, Jeff. It's a difficult model because I'm not so sure I want to get in bed with you because we're competitors.
Well, I think
Sorry.
I should just clarify that.
Yeah.
It's very informal. So, for instance, when you go to Curaleaf has a $5,000 minimum purchase, okay, which is actually very low when you look at other markets. In the end, as the market grows and supply comes on, you're going to want to have a diversity of products. For instance, a lot of the products that you can purchase in other jurisdictions are not going to be approved yet in New Jersey. But as they
Probably
come
8
along,
to 10 years.
yeah. So it's just an issue of building those relationships and introducing them to these people that are going to have supply, and understanding that you can enter into a supply agreement, and it's going to be critical having supply moving forward and having that relationship from the beginning. There's no formal organization. Jennifer has met Bosch, the Moores, they know each other. It's something that I kind of informally put together just because I'm out there meeting with different suppliers.
I understand. Any other questions from board members with respect to Mr. Pendergrass' testimony thus far? Anybody from the audience? Hearing none, seeing none. I'm guessing you need not cover anything else, all right? You've covered this issue. All right, fair enough. Any other witnesses?
Yeah, we have one more witness. I'd like to reintroduce Hugh Giordano from the local 152.
He's getting triple time here. All right, you remain sworn, Mr. Giordano.
Right. Hugh Giordano, Giordano. So I want to just touch base again. Euphoria has agreed to sign a labor peace agreement, which means that from day one, they will do the right thing and attempt to do the right thing in regards to hiring practices, good wages, safe working conditions, and benefits. Jersey City is going to be the hub for good union jobs. and Euphoria LLC is going to be part of that community. Trying to do the right thing is half the battle here when it comes to creating good jobs and working with good industry leaders. And folks that are willing to do the right thing should be given the opportunity to do so. We know that with our guidance and with the guidance of their attorneys and consultants, that when things are finally up and running, that this will be a stable and good business for the future of Jersey City. We've had conversations, and I have to say that they're willing to do the right thing. They're willing to step up to the plate, and the UFCW supports this applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so the record's clear, once again, this is another applicant that is a micro business and need not enter into a labor peace agreement, but they've done it on their own accord. Any questions for Mr. Giordano from the audience or from the board? Hearing none, seeing none. Any other witnesses, Mr. Rosenberg, Mr. Nelson?
No further witnesses, Mr. Mondello.
All right. May I open it up to the public for?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This would be the opportunity for members of the public to speak either for or against this application. Hearing none, seeing none, would close that public portion of the meeting, bring it back to the dais. What is the board's pleasure?
I looked at Jeff. He likes to make motions.
I looked at Jeff too.
I'd like to make a motion to approve CCB 22-10 Euphoria LLC at 138 Griffith Street with the following conditions. Well, the only one I requested was regarding the,
When it's seconded, you can go into discussion.
regarding using the phone system or pre-ordering, so there's no lines out front.
I think both, a combination will be helpful.
And you would keep a record of any job fairs that you have, how you, a record of keeping, how many people apply and how many people who have been hired.
Okay.
We spoke about expungement.
And expungement.
Mr. Rosenberg has some affiliation with other organizations that can perform the expungement clinic.
Right. That's my motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. I think the neighborhood is ripe. There's been a lot of people that have, been looking for it. I think the location is suitable. I know that I'm building something over there, and I could see that adding to the world of individuals interested in that.
Discussion?
I am not comfortable moving forward. I think that you probably are very hardworking. I'm not saying no. I just feel that you did not have a lot of answers to some of the things that we asked questions about, like the security plan. I would just feel more comfortable if you came back kind of, and maybe you're nervous, and after today, hopefully you won't be nervous because we are friendly, but I do want to make sure that we're making the right decisions on these. And I do feel that I'm being very fair because I say the same thing to everybody, but we're asking questions and you're kind of deferring just to this document, but you're here to kind of tell us the story. And it seems like you're not totally confident in your story yet or totally sure on what you're doing in terms of security and other things. And I do think it's this board's responsibility to ask those questions and to have concrete answers, not kind of, I think I hired this person or things to that effect. So that's my opinion.
Yep.
I don't know.
I would say I do agree. I think perhaps further consideration about things like the expungements, things like specifics about the community organization that you will be involved in. It feels more like you're absent. Like you're here very mechanically sort of carrying out what's happening. And I think that's Sean over there and your teammates there at the table. But you, like bringing yourself 100% and owning what it is that you're saying. This is very important, what you're bringing into into the community. So you want to own that information and be clear about what it is and making further decisions about what you want to support, what type of establishment are you going to be, what will you do about the education, what will you actually do, know more about the Expungement Act.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let's not vote on it then.
I
think.
Well, Jeff, I think
Well, I have a right to.
No, I do. I was going to say, I think with Robert's rules, there is a motion and a second. It's got to be voted on. Now, it could be voted that it's not approved, but then there can be a second motion. It wasn't
I wonder if I make the motion, even on the Robert rules, even if it's second, aren't I allowed to, remove the motion?
All right, so Jeff is making a motion to withdraw his motion that he previously made. Is there a second to that?
We second his motion.
So, just to withdraw, yes.
To withdraw, okay. I could second
So there is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that motion's gone.
Okay, so I make a motion to table the application, not because we're saying no, and I want to make this explicitly clear. If we are tabling something, it's only because we're asking for more information. It's not a no, it's not that we don't think you're good. We're not suggesting any of that. We're not voting, we're just saying we need a little more information to move forward because, as I've very recently realized, I'm the face of cannabis coming into Jersey City. And when I finally realized that, it's terrifying. And I want to make sure that this board does a good job and that we have a good reputation and that we made the right decision. So we're only tabling it to ask for more information, not because we're not saying no, we're saying, and I think part of the problem is people are rushing to get these in. But I think it's better to come with a complete application and complete testimony and to be prepared so that we don't keep saying come back again. Because we do know you fly people in, there are lawyers, it's expensive, and I hate tabling people. I feel bad, but I do think that it's my responsibility to make the prudent choice to table if the board doesn't feel comfortable. And I don't feel comfortable, and Courtney has said she doesn't. I can't speak for Glenda, but...
No, I don't. Because I really, I need some more information as far as, your employment for the black and brown community. There wasn't anything that I feel comfortable as far as you having any kind of contacts for any of that area because basically they are a priority. As far as being, chosen to work for the cannabis and to reach out, and they are the higher number of, arrests for marijuana charges. So I need to know that you come back with some information more with contacts for that area as far as the reentry or, or someone in the area that you can do some hiring with.
Okay. All right, so apparently there is a motion to carry by the chair. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are carrying this to when?
Do you guys feel comfortable coming back in 2 weeks? Do you think you can be prepared for July 11th?
Absolutely.
It's a very short, there's a holiday next Monday, so you'll be right back here before you know it. But I think it's a good choice to just be more prepared next time.
Thank you, Chairperson. We will definitely be ready for July 11th.
All right, good luck. And you got me thinking, Jeff. I'm going to pull out my Robert's Rules book tonight. I think he's right.
You could do a friendly amendment to his motion.
But we're still on the record. All right. With your permission, I'd like to call the final application, which is the leaf joint.
Oh my God, look at the attorneys.
All right. Okay. Now that you've gotten settled, Counselor, would you please enter your appearance into the record?
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Gerard Pizzillo. I'm an attorney with Genova Burns, here tonight on behalf of the applicant, the Leaf Joint LLC. The property that we're discussing is 391 Central Avenue. The application before you, and we're seeking a favorable recommendation to the Municipal Council for a Class 5 retail dispensary as a micro business. The applicant, the Leaf Joint, is comprised of 3 individuals, all lifelong current Jersey City residents. David Jefferson to my left, his wife Pamela Jones, and Charmaine DeJesus, both seated behind me, and who will be testifying before this board this evening. Very briefly, before I turn it over to David, just want to run the board through a few high-level items that we believe that we've submitted as part of our application.
Before we do that.
Sure.
Have you been to the Jersey City Planning Board?
Yes, we have. We did appear before the Jersey City Planning Board, did receive a approval as for the conditional use. We did get a memorialized resolution confirming that as well.
Okay.
So I just wanted to highlight a few things before I turn it over to David, because I know he's more important to hear from than me, the lawyer. Obviously, this is a micro business, so we have a maximum of 10 employees that we're able to hire. We already have 5 employees as part of the operating leaf joint CBD business, that's currently been operating for the past 3 years. Those 5 employees will be carrying over to the essentially it's the same establishment, just adding a new product. All those employees are Jersey City residents. They are all minorities. In fact, David and the team have already been putting through one of those employees with the Minority Cannabis Academy. So, that's very important. In terms of the community impact, these are all lifelong Jersey City residents. They continue to be Jersey City residents. This is their home. They're not going anywhere. They have experience in highly regulated industries as well. The 3 of them have helped create Kids Castle, which is an early elementary program that's been, I think, founded in 1993. But David and Charmaine can, put more flavor on that. In terms of social equity, obviously, this is a micro business. All of the principals of the entity are minorities, so that's obviously something that's very important and close to their hearts. Workforce, I think we touched on. So all that being said, I'll turn it over to David. You'll hear from him. You'll hear from Pamela, and you'll hear from Charmaine. And then maybe I'll sum up briefly, and happy to answer any questions commissioners have.
Thank you, Mr. Pizzillo. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Okay. Jefferson David.
And your address, sir.
9 McAdoo Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305.
And what percentage of the business do you own?
I own a third of it.
33%.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Your witness, Mr. Pizzillo.
So I don't really have any questions specifically. David, I'd like for you to tell the commissioners your story, your vision, and how you envision this.
All right, I'll start from the very beginning. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I'm born and raised in Jersey City. Went to all the local schools. I went to St. Patrick's Grammar School, St. Mary's High School, graduated from both. I went on to Jersey City State, took some courses in criminal justice. And from there, I went into the loss prevention field, which is kind of connected to what we're doing with cannabis, because I went into retail security, which a lot of the things that I've learned in there I could actually mesh in to the cannabis business. In addition to that, I'm also a retired state correction officer. So, I understand it from that aspect as well. All right, so when I was very excited to hear about when the cannabis thing was going into effect. My partners and I felt that we should get involved in it. Growing up in the neighborhoods I did, for those of you from Jersey City, I was born and raised on Clerk and Carteret, which was a real tough neighborhood coming up. I currently live on McAdoo Avenue, which is also kind of tough, right? I could move, but I choose to stay there and kind of work in the community and hopefully kind of mentor those guys there and get them on the right track, which I have a 20-year-old. He'll be 21 soon. and keeping him on the right track along with his friends. So I'm constantly out there, my wife and I, mentoring and trying to get these guys on the right track. So that's that's my personal background. From a business aspect, myself, my wife, and my sister, we also went into the childcare business. But prior to that, my wife and I went into our home is called the Resource Home, where we take in kids from the community that have been displaced from their family for various reasons. Some of them are abused from their biological home, other foster parents that they were abused by, and we take them in and we make sure they have a safe home until they could at least be returned back.
Doesn't this say that it's been 100 over the years?
Yeah, we've been in it over 20 years. Right, so we take them in. I'm happy to say out of that, we were able to adopt 2 small children out of the system that, we were able to obtain as babies that we fell in love with. And, we kept them and, we raised them as our own. And it's been great. So we also do things where we go out and speak at the other events, trying to get more people into the foster system. If any of you are interested, I will talk to you afterwards about it. But it's a great thing. It's fulfilling. There's no better feeling than to give a kid an opportunity that probably wouldn't have these opportunities. Their life kind of started the rough way. So from there, it was like a natural progression to go into the childcare business. So we went to the childcare business. Right now, we collectively we own about a half a dozen centers throughout Jersey City, and that's where we could actually. So to link it all together and come full circle, along with the things that we're doing as far as hiring practices and community impact, kind of goes together with. It's just a natural progression because we've been doing these things from the childcare centers anyway. So we're just picking it up and bringing it to the cannabis industry, right? We've, we work with several charities, one being the DIFAS, of course. We just recently, I have a guy in the neighborhood that has a group called the Sneaker Room right across the street. He's working with the Board of Education to start a mentorship program to kind of introduce, kids to being an entrepreneur kind of early in life. A lot of us get into it later on after we've done a couple other careers, but, the earlier the better sometimes, and, I think this is the time. So we're going to go out and speak in conjunction with the Board of Education, kind of lining it up and allowing us to get into these high schools to speak. So we're going to be working on that. That's along with the Sneaker Room, and we're going to be doing that in the community as well. We've done various things as food drives and book bag giveaways. We've also recently, we have pictures on our website where we just did, we gave away for Easter baskets to all the kids that were in the community, because we understand that these baskets could be kind of expensive, and we just wanted to make sure that as many children could get an Easter basket that they that couldn't afford one, and we were able to do it, and we did it right outside the Leaf Joint. Now, just to touch on the Leaf Joint a little bit, I think we're bringing something different to the community there. First of all, the neighborhood loves it. It's people come in there, it's like family. They know us by first name, we know them by first name. And I think what we're bringing different is that we have a different look. You go into a lot of these dispensaries, it has that old pharmacy look. We're kind of bringing a different kind of vibe to the cannabis feel, and making it just feel just a little bit more welcoming and a little more hip, if you would say. We spent some time on the design of that, and as far as the security of it, I think with my security background, and we've hired the number one security company in the country in as far as Sapphire and Tony Gallo. And the irony is Tony and Gallo and I worked together at Sears, one of the thing, right? So I was the manager of the local Sears downtown in Newport. I ran the security there for them, right? And Tony Gallo was actually a DM. So, I met him again in life. I didn't think that would actually come around, but we ended up meeting again in life. So, he and I were able to put together the security plan. I've heard things as far as addressing the lines, and we've also handled one of the bigger companies as far as COVA for our POS system, right? So we are going to have the system where we'll be able to register you in and then text you when, your item is ready for pickup. Nice thing about that is I think what it does, because we're on Central Avenue, you could go hang out and visit some of the other great local businesses in the area. 2 doors down, we have a Blimpie, laundromats, great restaurants. So the people could patronize other businesses while they wait on their product to be done. So
or visit after.
Oh, visit after. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Right. So, we're going after strictly a micro business right now, and that's the focus. But like I said, I really just think we're just bringing a different vibe to the cannabis industry as far as Jersey City is concerned, and I just hope we could move forward today.
So you're unique in the sense that you have an operating business now that you're converting into something different, and I don't think we've heard that before. Yeah. So how is your relationship with the Jersey City Heights community presently?
It's fantastic. The reception has been overwhelming, I have to say. We get nothing. Listen, I could have filled the room up today, but we were last, and I didn't want to take too much time. But, I'm Jersey City born, and, I know a lot of people. I really could have really got it in here today.
Yeah, no,
but,
I believe it. I just, I'm asking the questions. And you are also about a block away from the police department, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have an excellent relationship with them. They actually come in and patronize the business. We, as well as CBD, we carry some other tobacco type product like cigars and cigarettes, and they come in and they're always in and out. I've had conversations with many of them. I know many of them. Some of them actually worked for me when I was the manager at Sears, and they went on and took the test, and I mentored a lot of them on actually how to get a job with the police department, and
there's no consumption on site, correct?
There's no consumption on site.
Okay,
no.
But you are thinking about it in the future.
It was initially, but we didn't want to.
You don't have to talk about it because it's not part of your application today. So I don't want to talk about it today.
Okay.
I just asked if they're presently. It's not a smoke lounge.
No.
Okay.
So when you set up this, and I just Googled your site, the interior's far different than anything I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It's a real, cool looking place.
Thank you.
When you set it up, did you set it up with the security systems, the safes, all
right? So the
thinking
safes
forward?
Right. So the safes, being in the security field and working with Tony Gallo, the safe will have its own independent security system. So when you walk into that room, you will have to arm and disarm just to get into the room before you unlock the safe. So, and we'll have all the doors that are buzzer controlled as well. The packaging would all be prepackaged. So we're kind of limiting as much, going back and forth as we can with that. But it's all armed, secured at the end of the night. We also have CCTV that I can monitor from my phone. All the owners could. If there's anything going on, if there's any break-ins or anything, we'll be notified automatically and be able to respond right away.
So if I might, Mr. Jefferson, interesting bullet point in one of your documents that you intend to be an incubator for, I guess, less fortunate folks that want to get into cannabis. Could you please expand upon that?
Well, one of the things that we've done, we've linked with the I don't want to misspell the Minority Cannabis Academy. So what we've did, like I said, we have about 5 employees already. We were able to get a couple of them into the academy and get them trained up. Now that's an investment we're making ahead of time in anticipation that everything goes well. So what we don't want is a bunch of people out there that just doesn't know the business, right? So we want to be able to bring more people into it, educate them on the cannabis, the benefits of it, the safe way to actually consume cannabis, and do it in a responsible way. So that's one of the things that we want to get out there. None of the, smoking and driving and just kind of, I don't think there's enough of that being said. Everyone is kind of super excited that it's been legal, but we're not talking about the not so nice side of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And getting them.
Who is the Minority Cannabis Academy? I don't know. Not that it matters, but through Harmony?
Well, it's a Jersey City. I'm Charles Messina with the law firm Genova Burns.
Welcome, Mr. Messina.
Also representing the applicant. It's based in Jersey City. This is the first class they're going to have. Harmony, you're right. Harmony is funding. the
Okay,
company,
I just
but
wasn't sure. That's fine. I was more curiosity.
Brendan Robinson.
Yes, and Stanley. The two of them is really kind of their baby.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think you're right. People will talk about the good side of cannabis and not a lot about the bad side. And with any new industry or anything comes growing pains and challenges. So being at the forefront of trying to mitigate those is a good idea.
And
I'm sorry.
As soon as David heard about that, he encouraged his employees right now, because this is an investment with this company to eventually become a cannabis dispensary. And, I know at least one was accepted in the school. So he will be taught on bud tending.
And in addition to the education, you've indicated that you would provide grants, access, and introductions to potential sources of capital, again, management training, mentorship from experts, and formation of peer support groups.
That is correct. I would even add to that, there are a lot of minorities that would like to get involved in this business that didn't have the capital. What I would like to do is, once we open a successful business and become profitable, is go back and provide some of that capital to some more minority ownership and see if we could bring them into the forefront of things. So, and that's really where a lot of minorities got locked out. I was, my group was able to, because we've been fortunate to run successful businesses over the years. We were able to have the capital to invest and didn't have to seek outside investors. We're 100% black ownership. So I would like to see that for others, and I would like to go back and provide some funding through grants or whatever kind of way we could get the money out to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because I asked that question to some other applicants, but I didn't get that answer.
All right.
That's the planning
So
board?
thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Jefferson from the board?
Oh, I just had a question, because I know that now that you're going to be transitioning your current space, if you get a license, I'm just wondering the state of like, I think that I have like a smoke shop CBD issue with like young people, making sure they don't have access. So as you're transitioning, it will become a 21 and over location to enter, correct?
It currently is now.
Oh, okay.
We don't allow anyone under the age of 21 to even basically walk into the store. My wife's a pit bull on. She's the pit bull on that one. I'm like, babe, he looks 40, but she IDs everyone, and so we're good as far as that's concerned.
Any other questions for Mr. Jefferson from the board?
No.
Hearing none, seeing none. Any members of the public have questions? Questions only for Mr. Jefferson. Hearing none. Next witness, Mr. Pizzillo.
Sure. Pamela Jones.
The pitbull?
Yeah, pitbull, yeah.
Welcome, Ms. Jones. If you'd be so kind as to raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address.
Pamela Jones, Jones, 9 McAdoo Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07305.
What would you like to tell the board?
First of all, yes, I am a pit bull. Stickler on it. Okay, I do have a soon-to-be 21-year-old son. So the moment anyone walks in that door, it's right away I notice the younger ones, they have a face mask on. Today, at this day and age, they're not wearing a face mask. I tell all the employees immediately, ID them, which they're on it already. Okay, you gotta excuse me, my voice is like, I'm just struggling to get it back. Right away, I turn them around. I have nothing for them. I don't care what it is. It's a soda or anything, because I do sell beverages and chips. I want them to exit immediately, not looking around. So with that being said, I will honor that and make sure it won't get in the wrong hands of the kids.
Is your percentage of ownership the same as Mr. Jefferson, 33%?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so I am born and raised in Jersey City all my life. I've graduated high school, Lincoln High School. I've been a resource parent for over close to 22 years. As a state, I am a foster parent it's well over 100 children, which I have adopted and provided kinship for a couple of young ladies. Every single child went home safely or somewhere. I do get calls and letters and everything from all of the young women that became adults and had children. I'm involved in child care. I've had for over 14 years. I own a 2-family house in Jersey City. I've actually had most of my foster parents, any of the children, I've known none of them. They are local in the community. The last 2 children that I've adopted from babies, I have gotten involved meeting their parents, and they were all like 14 years old, the parents. So my passion was really to become, develop a Mommy and Me program to become more involved in the community and provide for the parents, because I think it's like a injustice what some of them go through. They don't have the support with their own families, so they're losing their kids to various families over drugs or just not having a structure at home. So I do look to and have in the past employed the parents that's out there trying to seek work and have a stable home for their kids and keep them together. So,
thank you. Any questions from board members?
I want to congratulate you. Thank you. You're doing really good work.
Any questions from members of the public for Ms. Jones? Hearing none, seeing none. Next witness.
Sure. Thank you, Counsel. Charmaine De Jesus.
Okay. All right, welcome. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Charmaine De Jesus, DeJesus, and that's 31 Neptune Avenue in Jersey City.
Ms. De Jesus, do you also own 33%?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. What would you like to tell the board?
I just want to tell the board just a little bit about where the passion for the community comes from. We've been operating a child care center for over 20 years. We possess leadership skills. We train parents when they come in to do resumes. We help them with PACO. We help them find housing. A lot of them don't know how to fill out forms. We've done a lot for the community. Clothing giveaways. At one point, every other Saturday, we would be outside with tables in front of the child care centers, just giving them clothes and coats and, things that they need, gloves and socks. But for me, and I too, also was inspired. David is my big brother. And watching him and his wife foster children inspired my husband, Jose, and I to foster as well. And we did adopt 2 beautiful girls as well. So that was predicated on observing them. But going a little deeper, when Dave and I were teenagers, my mom would be in the kitchen and she would make like big pots of food and we would pack it up and go down to the train stations in Journal Square and downtown, and we would feed the homeless down there. And it was so beautiful because I think at that point we really realized how much we wanted to be an impact in this city, being from this city. So we really, have such a passion for it. So it's like, this is our city. So we state our claim here. So, we have leadership skills and all of these things, and that's all great. But I think our passion speaks more for itself.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Questions from board members? Hearing none, seeing none. Questions from the audience on the testimony? Hearing none, seeing none. Next witness, Counselor.
I have no further witnesses, counsel.
You don't need any.
I'd like to open it up to the public, either comments for or against this application. Comments limited to 3 minutes, either for or against the application. Hearing none, seeing none. Oops, okay. All right, welcome. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, give us your address.
Jennifer Cabrera, Cabrera, and I don't live in Jersey City. I am counsel for Decades Dispensary, which has been approved by this board.
All right.
I simply have a question, which is that Decades has been approved for by the planning board and also by the Cannabis Control Board for a Class 5 dispensary at 404 Central Avenue, which is less than 200 feet away. And I was curious how Jersey City is treating the 600-foot buffer.
So this is not a period for question and answers. That's number one. But I'll take a crack at it. Do you have site plan approval from the planning board?
Yes.
Do you have site plan approval from the planning board?
Yes.
So I'm guessing that the governing body is going to consider these to be pre-existing nonconformities, and they're going to ignore that distance and give you a blessing. But that's my best guess. I would suggest that you speak to another attorney who might have a different opinion.
Counselor, isn't the city's position that micro businesses are not subject to that distance rule?
I thought they were, the 600 went down to 200, or they have absolutely no, I've forgotten, yeah.
I thought the city's taking an approach that if it's a micro business, which...
It can be on the same block.
Right.
Are you a micro business?
We are not.
But we are.
But they are.
Right, so-
But she's not concerned about them, I guess.
No, basically, even if there's one that's a micro business and one that's a regular, they can exist on the same block.
All right, so let's hope that is the case.
That's correct. And the one that was approved is not on our block at all. So we would be the only micro business on that block of Central Avenue.
And just one other comment. At this point, neither Decades nor Leaf Joint, they haven't been approved by the CRC
Right.
for a license. So not that it would be a decision for this board anyway, but it would be premature.
Right.
Even if there was an issue.
Yeah. So anyway, good luck. Any other, this would be a period for you, it's comments, not questions, either for or against the application. Come on up. Let's see. Sir, you remain sworn. Just state your name for the record again.
Sure thing. Good evening. Osbert Orduna. Last name's Orduna. I just wanted to speak. I had the opportunity to speak with some of the owners of the Leaf Joint, and we had a great conversation. I'd like to point out today that one thing that's forgotten with cannabis is the fact that there are plenty of folks out there that utilize cannabis for PTSD. But don't utilize medicinal cannabis because they don't want the stigma that's associated with having a medicinal card. And so today being National PTSD Awareness Day, just wanted to speak out on behalf of the applicant. And I think it's great to have, additional cannabis businesses coming to the community to provide the opportunity for people that are either disabled veterans or those suffering with PTSD to have the option to purchase cannabis wherever they choose to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, seeing none, back to the dais.
Any discussion?
Oh, sorry, did you want to sum up? I'm sorry, Mr.
Sure,
Pizzillo.
I will.
There's one more witness.
There's someone to speak? Another witness?
There's someone that wants to speak, I think.
I have no witnesses. If there's a member of the public that wants to speak in favor of it, now's the time.
Or in favor or against?
Of course.
True counselor.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. You can put your hand down. Please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
My name is Dimple Shah. Last name Shah, S-H-A-H. I live at 133 Webster Avenue.
What would you like to say, Mr. Shaw?
I've met Dave and Pam over the last 2 years. We've been doing business together, and I have seen the establishment. I was part of the setup, and the way we seen this business come up, and all the community is appreciating the business. So I really in favor of this business.
Well, thank you, sir.
Dimple, D-I-M-P-L-E.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Did you want to sum up, Mr. Pizzillo?
Yeah, very briefly. Thank you, Counsel. I would just, respectfully request a favorable recommendation tonight. I think the Leaf Joint, the applicant, my clients, have demonstrated a strong community relationship. This is their home. It's continuing to be their home. And similar to the prior application this board's heard tonight, I think this is what the council envisioned when they adopted this ordinance and allowed the cannabis businesses into the city. They're here. They were here in the lean times, and they're continuing to be here in the strong times. I think they have that community, the tie to the community that this board is looking for. Among the other positives that we've prepared or that have been submitted, I think they have a strong workforce program. They are committed to the youth of Jersey City, and I would just ask for a favorable recommendation. I thank the boards for their time.
Thank you. Back to the board.
Okay. Congratulations. You're the first applicant that I have absolutely no conditional additions to the.
Yes.
I will say, excellent. Your family's superb.
Thank you.
I wholly, completely.
Wait, no, someone has to make a motion, Jeff.
I am going to
So-
make that right now.
He won't let anyone else. Come
Okay,
on.
someone else make the motion.
Go ahead, Stace. No, I'll wait for it. I'll give this.
No, he said someone else. It's someone else.
Well, I would make an motion to approve this applicant. I'm extremely impressed by just your commitment to the next generation. And I mean, fostering, it takes a lot of patience. And I think bringing that into your work also with your security background. And I was a kindergarten teacher a really long time ago. I kind of know how that is. So I feel like it's like the perfect storm for you to enter into. And so my motion would be to approve this applicant.
I second.
All right. Roll call.
Chairperson Bunny?
I'm voting yes. I think you guys have a great story. I think you check a lot of the boxes that we're looking for. You're clearly committed to the city. And so I vote yes.
Assistant Chairperson Kaplowitz?
Being a born and raised Jersey City person myself, it is such a pleasure to meet a family like yours. I wish you all the success in the world. I vote aye.
Commissioner Sally Perkins?
I approve. But don't ask me to be a foster parent, though.
Yeah, right. would you adopt me?
Commissioner Sloan?
Yes. I vote yes.
Commissioner Flanagan?
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations and the best of luck always.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, this has got to be the most confusing. That's the micro business separation.
Yeah, well, according to Matt, and other people.
All right,
Yes, Chairwoman.
There's no new business. There's no extra meetings. We are coming July 11th, and then not until August, I think. We're on summer recess.
So can I make a motion to adjourn?
No, it's not real. I'm just saying I'm not adding another July meeting, unless you want to come twice in July, but it's, okay. So I think Mr. Falciccio wants to speak.
Oh, I didn't even see him.
Well,
Thank you. Frank Falciccio, Falcicchio, Jersey City. I want to compliment you on having a recorder. I know this is all a new process, and I'm very concerned about having an understanding. I have no objection to cannabis. I really don't. I did take note of a recent conference, I guess you want to call it, at Hudson Community College, and some of the comments that were attributed to not only people that are sitting up there now, but also attorneys that were present here. There's no driving a wedge between residents and prospective owners of businesses, but there are some really clear understanding that research that I did in terms of the kinds of locations and things like that, and I'm very happy about what's attributed to the Jersey City Council president in saying that don't bring me any applications that don't have community support, because that's very important. But you know, some of the people that have come before you they're local people, and just like this applicant that was here tonight. So you know, just keep focusing on that, and I understand the nature of this committee and where we are in this whole process of getting our foot in the door at the beginning of it here in Jersey City. But I do kind of question the idea of elected officials taking a stand and writing letters in support of applications. I don't think that's like a smart thing to do, because it's like that is kind of like pitting the public against or the public versus the potential applicants. So that's something, and I know it's beyond the responsibility of this board, but it's just something to keep in mind. My understanding today was that apparently the mayor writes a letter of support for every applicant that's there. If that's true, you know, that's his business, but you know, we'll see what happens with the thing. But thank you for having a recorder. Thank you for meeting in person. I did talk at the city council meeting, the last one, to try to get the planning board to have the courage to meet in person. I don't know why they don't, but you know, just keep up this good work, and I do understand the nature of what your responsibility is in this process. So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to speak. And maybe like public comments can be something you add to the agenda. Yeah.
Well, so public comments are only to speak to the application, because the problem is they just get too off topic. We have a very limited scope. We're really here to review the application. So other concerns are not something that this board can meaningfully address, which is why we aren't doing the public comment to limit it. But the one thing I will say about all of these cannabis businesses, they do have to come back in front of this board in a year. So if they are not good operators, if they are not good neighbors, if they're creating problems, you do have the opportunity to come back every year in front of this board, whether I sit here or Jeff sits here or Stacy, Glenda, and Courtney. There will be a cannabis control board as long as there's cannabis in the city, and you will be able to come here to address your issues on an annual basis. So I would assume these people have the best intentions, because their business does get renewed every year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, what is the board's pleasure? I know that we thought we may discuss two items: procedures for carrying applications,
Yes.
and then perhaps changes to the list of community impact conditions that I just pooled from other applications that we have done in the past.
So I think what we wanted to do is, if an applicant wishes to carry their application, if it's less than 2 weeks before the meeting, they have to come here to request to carry. Otherwise, they can send a letter to Maynard, but it would still be the board's decision whether they can carry or not. And the reason we're doing that is because we did add all of these extra meetings, and it's not really fair for people to table in the 11th hour when we've all committed to coming here an additional night. And the agenda gets published, so people are planning to come and speak or not speak. So if it's 2 weeks out, they can more than 2 weeks out, they can send a letter. If it's less than 2 weeks, then they need to come and appear before the board. And either the board will grant them to carry, or the board will ask them to appear before us, because we are doing this in the order in which the applications are submitted to make sure that everything is fair. So I would make a motion to change carrying to that.
Could I just recommend adding to that motion that an applicant's attorney can notify Commerce Maynard, and so we understand that they're going to come to the board and request that board to carry it, so we don't have to read that application when we know it's not going to be on.
But the board has to agree to carry it. So for example, if someone has already submitted their application, we've already read their application, and they decide today they want to table it, they have to come before us and ask for that request, and it's either granted or denied.
Okay.
And if the applicant should be here, because if it's denied, they have to be ready to present to the board.
No, I don't disagree with that. It's been my experience in the planning board. It's been very, very rare when someone requests to carry an application for various reasons, usually granted. So, I mean, an example would be that they're in process of meeting with the community and they haven't come to terms and they felt that they have to continue the meetings. I don't think I'd want to hear the application against that.
No, that's why they have a 2-week window, but Maynard does publish the agenda the week. I think.
So what I think I'm hearing you say is that the public are planning to come to talk about that particular applicant, and that's unfair to the public as well. Plus, I feel like I'm spending hours reviewing the application, and those are hours I can't get back after, and I'm going to have to re-look at it the next 2 weeks. And while I wish I had a lot more spare time to be able to do that, I'm putting in a lot to review that application, and then there might be like some changes if we're waiting on something that also makes us have to review it again.
Yeah, and if it's more than 2 weeks out and we could put someone else on the agenda or make a change,
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. If it's prior to the agenda being posted
2 weeks.
publicly in 2 weeks, that's clearly not going to go on an agenda. I'm saying if indeed, say, 3-4 days, such as we were having one other application for tonight that knew that they had to have further conversations with the community, that they were not prepared to come here, even though it was on the agenda. So I don't think we're going to force them to hear the application night. But this is about the legal aspect of the board having them come officially to request it and the board voting on it.
Right, but that's what happened tonight. Was Rosemary Moyano Matos had let Ron know that they would like more time, but we still told them that out of respect for the board and the other applicants, they had to appear before us. It's not an unreasonable board of people. I don't think if someone was doing the right thing that we told them to do, like saying the applicant is meeting with the schools that we asked him to, but he still should appear before the board, because that's just I don't know the way it is.
No, and I agree with
Right,
that.
but you're agreeing, and then we're getting repetitious again. So can we just? I'm making a motion. If it's more than 2 weeks, they can send a letter. They don't have to appear. If it's less than 2 weeks, they have to send a letter, and the board still decides whether they appear or do not appear. But if it's 3 or 4 days, they should be in front of the board as a formality. That's the motion.
Can I ask Maynard a quick question? So Maynard, if you get a letter that is 3 weeks before the meeting saying they want to adjourn, are you able to put another application in its place? Would
Yes,
that-
because normally we don't finalize it 3 weeks in advance. It's closer to 2 weeks to 10 days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the plan is to circulate the applications at the request of the board members 2 weeks in advance. So at that time, it's normally pretty finalized then on what we feel it can be. And normally, lately, we've had a few others in the pool that we've pushed to the next meeting. And I'm not sure if the board wants to, moving forward, add more than 4 applications. I mean, right now, we're taking 4 new applications and 1 or 2 carries, but it seems like we are moving a lot more quicker through some
Yeah.
of these applications.
So
And
let's
if there's a
deal
choice
with the motion now, and then let's address that.
All right, so there is a motion on the floor. Is there a
So,
second?
so I would second that. I think that's a fair and reasonable process. 2 weeks, below 2 weeks, they would need to come, if it's within a few days, they need to show up and request.
Yeah, so I agree. I agree with that. But something happened tonight with the other application. Did we not know? We had no idea they wouldn't be coming today.
So that I think was procedural. That's why we're discussing this policy because, Ron, do you want to speak
So
to
which,
that?
which application? I'm sorry.
Amdato.
Bill, application?
Original.
The first one?
The original agenda that was posted to the public.
The original agenda had 6 tonight.
Right.
And in the end, we heard 3. Well, we heard 5.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We did
So
have one
that's the-
application that, just requested to be pulled from the agenda on Friday.
But that's why we're setting a formal policy so that because we did not have a policy, and so we let it go, but there really should be a policy out of respect for everybody's time.
It's a good point, because this is their second. We, the goal here is we want to get as many applications on as possible, and if everybody starts to ask for an adjournment at the last minute, we're going to wind up with 2 applications. So.
It's fair, and the expectation for most of these requests are that they're being put on the next meeting. So is that fair to, the 4 that were in the pool, that we may
Right.
have to push one back based on this, so we have to decide if we're going to allow them to go, be carried to the next meeting, or are we going to put them at the back of the pool? So,
Yeah, no, that's a good point too, because we are bumping, if we're.
Bumping, you're right.
So, okay, so there's a motion and a second, so let's vote on that so we can go to the next thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then the other motion that I would like to make, we are, we're getting better each meeting, I think. And coming twice a month is a lot, I think. So I would rather add more and try to minimize this to 1 night a month and see how that goes, instead of continuing to add meetings. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I know initially we didn't want to be here past 9 or 10, but we did hear 3 and pretty quickly. So if we maybe went to 6 and tried, and again, it's going to be trial and error, because if there's opposition or there's overwhelming support like there was for one applicant tonight, that's going to take time. But I would like to try to come 1 time per month and see how that goes.
Yeah, I need
Before you
my
vote-
Monday nights for the summer, because I want to go through,
Yeah, Glenda has
house
plans.
music. I have house music on Monday nights.
All right, so I'm making a motion to.
Before you vote, I just want everyone to be aware of, there was an issue that was raised, and there may be a request to either change the day of the week that we're meeting or start the meeting a little later.
Is this
Because it has created some problems of city personnel like myself and I think Stacy making it to the caucus meeting that starts at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So especially, well, the summer's not as much as an issue because they move them till the morning, but I have not been able to present to caucus on any of my upcoming items. And if one of my staff members can't make it, it's pulled from the agenda.
Okay.
And I work across the street, so for me to get downtown and back up here by 5 is really difficult. So like I'm presenting like a reorg at the next caucus meeting for my department, like it would have, if it were at night. July, they move it during the
Yeah.
day, so we're good until September.
July and August caucus are during the day, but the council meeting is at night.
Yes.
So can we just keep July and August the same
Absolutely.
and try to do the one meeting, give it a 2-month trial, or even really let's give it next month and see how that goes. And then if it goes well, continue. If it doesn't go well, continue to add. But I do find it, I know everyone has a life and a full-time job and maybe a part-time job and kids and families and whatever. So can we try to hear more in one night and not do the 2 nights?
I got no problem with that.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Technically, we are only scheduled by monthly anyway, so the motion is just to add more.
More applicants, yeah.
Maynard, I apologize. Thank you. It takes me a little bit. How many applications do you have in the office right now?
24, but not 24 that are ready, not complete applications.
Okay.
So how many are complete and ready, would you say?
I'm guessing approximately 6.
Okay, so then let's hear all 6 on July 11th.
And remember, all 6 plus the 2 that we're carrying?
Yeah.
Yeah, those should take.
3 that you're carrying.
Oh, we're carrying 3.
But you know what the thing
one are
about
we-
those
oh, yeah,
3
Central.
are really not. If they're not
No.
ready, if they're not ready with with what we ask them to do.
Then it's, yeah. So then, yeah, let's put them all on. Let's see what happens.
I mean, worst case scenario, if you look at the planning board's agenda, sometimes there are 20 to 30 items.
Absolutely.
And they
You
adjourn.
just take the chance that you may have to be carried to the next meeting if you're on the end
Yeah,
of that
but I
list.
think if we commit to trying it one time and let's try to hear them, like if it's 2:00 in the morning, I understand. But if we get to, she's saying no, and she's the most important person here now.
Is there
Only if you're gonna feed me.
Yeah. Is there a maximum amount of time that you're technically allowed to? You know how like certain people have certain hours that like after this you might not be as focused.
Photographers
like
are
your
great.
fingers.
Yeah.
Right,
okay.
that's what I'm asking. Is there like a standard? Is it like okay?
By the way,
Okay, so-
anytime that you need a break, you should let us know and we will break.
Yeah, no,
You
we
know.
will, because, okay, no, understood. Well, let's, are we comfortable trying the 3?
3, you said 6.
No, the 3 carries, and there are 6 ready. That's 9 applications. I'm asking them though, Jeff. I'm not, I'm asking for,
I'm fine with that. I'd rather take care of it one time, July 11th, and
And, if it reaches a certain hour, we have to.
well,
carry
when
it.
she's done, then the meeting is over.
Exactly. When she says my hands are tired,
Right.
So, okay, fine. I make a motion to add all 9 to the next meeting, and anything Maynard receives that
see,
is
I'm not the only
complete after today goes to the August meeting.
Okay.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then I think the other thing is, we're gonna agree to read that statement at every meeting, a motion to read the explanation of what this board does. Because I think it needs to be very clear. And then the last thing is, I do think Ron suggested we make a motion to kind of standardize what we're looking for so that we're not repeating it every time.
Right.
I make that motion. I just think there needs to be some edits to the text, but I do think we should, the more we can formalize this and speed it up.
yeah. So can I address that, Ron? So I saw that there was a comment by Commissioner Kaplowitz related to the health department and the recalls. I can explain a little bit about the recall process. Daily, the Department of Health receives a recall list on every item from like dog food, peanut butter, across the board. And we align that with we have this aligned to our Twitter, and we have it on our healthierjc.com, and down at the bottom as like a running tab on the Jersey City Department, the city's website. So any recall we get, we upload onto that. So to reduce redundancy, we will know about a cannabis recall before, or an edible, or anything packaged, any food item with a QR code or a UFC code will come into our office.
Yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem deleting that. I agree.
Okay, I'll take that off. And why don't we handle it this way? If you have any additional edits or comments, just send them to me individually. I will redo the list and recirculate it.
Right.
Yeah, why doesn't everyone, let's not talk about it now. Send your recommendations to Ron. Ron will disseminate that information to the board, and we can talk about it at the next meeting. But I do think the easier we make this for people, the faster these meetings will go. So I make a motion to do that.
Is there a second?
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, one other item. I would like if we can get a list of all the applications that's sitting in Commerce, ones that are complete, ones that are not complete, so we know what's coming down the pike, instead of knowing just 2 weeks in advance.
What information would you like?
I'd like to know
Name and location?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the name of the organization, the location, and what kind of license they're getting.
I don't really want that information, personally.
I feel like until they have a complete application, it's not an application.
Because I feel like it's not an application, and I feel like you already have something in your. Personally, I don't want to know that. I want to hear them as they come in. I don't want to know who, because the more we know, the more someone tells you something that you don't want to know. If Jeff wants that, that's his prerogative, but I do not want that list.
In terms of getting the applications way in advance.
Well, I think it needs to be uniform across.
Well, that could be an Oprah request from Jeff to you. No.
Actually can't.
No?
It's not
Okay.
operable.
Jeff has a
maybe the
motion, so he needs a
general
second.
I'll withdraw if no one's agreeing to it.
not interested
I
in
just like to know
knowing.
what we're looking forward towards the future, that's all. And all I'm asking is for the name of the applicant and the address and the submission date.
Well, I think that's for me, because I'm going to just share how my operations. It's like,
That's wrong?
if you submitted something in September, but you didn't get around to it, your subconscious might judge that, right, in a way. And so maybe it's just, I feel like unless it's a full application that's stamped, applicant is submitted.
Applicant is ready to be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think we can, I think a lot of people jumped the gun and said, I'm going to get an application in, or I'm going to call Maynard and I'm going to get started, and then don't complete. And then, maybe 2 years from now they do, but is it worth us knowing that? I don't think so. I think it also, I think it might cloud some ethics for me. I think I don't want
Right.
to.
So
I'll
to the
withdraw
chair-
my motion.
Well, I was going to say, to the chair's point, Jeff's entitled to that information if he wants it. Something like that probably is operable. Not the documents associated with it. That's not. The state statute's crystal clear. But a list of what applications have been submitted and the date they were submitted, I don't see a problem with that. If you want it and nobody else does, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is just a question. I just don't know if that would make people question you.
I just withdrew
Oh, okay.
I withdrew it.
That makes it simple. All right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. We're very happy to have you. We're very excited. I know they told you an hour, but we did.